Good morning, good morning. I'm back. Back from Vietnam and slightly ready to go. I have a little bit of a guide to work with on what I want to do in a journal. But first, I need to attack a Hobonichi and try to get my thoughts separated day by day, some ephemera separated day by day. And that's what I'm going to do the next few days. So, bear with me. Good morning, good morning. It's not good morning, Vietnam. It's hello from your long lost, hopefully, buddy. I'm home. I'm still dealing with some side effects of a tummy issue. Pretty much everybody on our trip got it after we left Hulong Bay. Not everybody. There were 20 people in our group, and I would say 12 had some side effects from Hulong Bay water. We didn't drink it. We didn't do anything, but I didn't swim in it. Some were swimming in it. We think they had a dirty kitchen and dishes were getting washed in questionable environments. That's all we can think. But regardless, we made it. We made it. It was the best trip. So much different from Europe. I've only traveled in Europe and the United States. I have not been to Asia at all. It was completely eye-opening, as well as life-changing is too much, but I can't wait to do another trip. However, that flight is way too long. It took us, I think it was 14 hours to get from JFK to Taipei, and then Taipei to Hanoi was another 2 hours. We had to get from Columbia to Atlanta to JFK. Oh, so it was a good 26 hours both directions. And in there we had gained a day, coming home we lost a day, something like that. I can't swear to the directional. I can't even get my days straight without an international dateline. So I have a humongous pile of ephemera. Actually, not nearly as much as I wanted. I have very few tickets. I was able to scavenge some of them from our guide. He bought all of our tickets and held on to them. Finally, it was dawning on me that we're not going to get our tickets. So I asked him, could I have some tickets? Because I have a scrapbook. And he's like, you want the tickets? He said, I've been throwing them away. I'm like, I kind of thought that's what was happening to him. I'm like, no, that's perfect ephemera. Anyhow, he didn't know what the word ephemera was. Our guide was outstanding. Really neat guy. Anyhow, so I have started my Hobonichi. I kind of figure I need to get my Hobonichi kind of in date order, in order, under control, before I tackle the journal part of it. I don't know how I'm going to tackle it yet, but I do have a master layout here. This is how my brain works. I have to do it like this. I have our entire schedule, topics that I know I want to talk about that ran over to here. And this will be my guideline. I don't like to plan. I'm not a good planner, but I do have to have guidelines. And this is what I call a guideline. So I have like the first day we landed, we got together, we greeted each other. We went to a welcome dinner, then a water puppet show, which was close to our hotel. We based ourselves out of Hanoi. At the last minute, the trip was changed from what I can understand. I think there was supposed to be Ho Chi Minh City in there somewhere. I always had that in my head. We only did the northern part. We did Hanoi, which was north. Then we went northwest a little bit more to Sapa, up in the mountains. And then we came back, and then we went west, northeast a tad to Hulong Bay, and then back to Hanoi. So Hanoi was kind of like our home base. We spent 2 nights, a night, kind of that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. I can't wait to go back to somewhere in Asia again. Craft tours, which is what we used, may or may not be my first choice for my next trip to Asia. It's still up in the air. There were obviously good things about it, but there were a couple things I was a little disappointed isn't the right word. Questionable was the right word. All in all, a 98% great trip. All in all. I would never complain, even though I think the topics that got, in my mind, kind of overlooked, such as money. Vietnamese don't like American money. And if you use it, it has to be brand new bills. Well, okay. I didn't know that. Half of mine were not brand new. And they don't much like credit cards, except for in like big museums, not small museums. And we kind of thought, anyhow, that the money was a problem. And going to the two indigenous tribes up in the mountains in Sapa, where we did batiking and the embroidery. Oh my gosh, the embroidery was my most favorite part. Those were steep trails. If you're a little bit overweight and you have issues with altitude and or high blood pressure, there needs to be a warning. Those trails, yes, they're used to climbing them, but we're not used to climbing them at high elevations. Anyhow, those were my two only complaints, and if that's all I have to complain about, I think that's pretty darn good. It was fantastic. I've already started putting in ephemera in my Hobonichi, just to get some kind of, this is the May introduction page, some kind of picture of what I'm going to do. I did order some stickers from an Etsy shop before I left, and I ordered that paper, which I have to track down again. It's over here somewhere. I ordered, I think it's Chinese though, but I'm going to, only because I did get a newspaper. But once and that was the only newspaper I ever saw. It was in our hotel lobby, and I asked the concierge if I could have one. Yes. Well, I didn't look at it. I just went on about my day, because you're, scheduled every minute. And when I got back that night, I'm like, this is in English. So the next morning, I asked him if he had one in Vietnamese, and he said no. They don't make them in Vietnamese, or at least they don't carry them. So that was heartbreaking. But, because I love me a foreign language newspaper. I got some great postcards, some of which I've already used. This is like our flight and a few stickers. I had to stop. I lost my train of thought. Anyhow, I'm trying to get my act together, separating a few things out. Putting pictures in here are going to be printed on regular copy paper because, hello, we're not even into June yet, and this is already more than halfway. Very full. I've got Post-its on the days that we did what we did on those days. Couple things cut out, couple things sectioned to the right places. This is not in the right place. I'm still way behind regular stuff too. Now I'm going to have an overflow. I actually put a overview of the Vietnam War. I'm going to put that here. The after effects of war, which they're still feeling. They still have Ancient Orange in their soil and all that kind of stuff in certain parts of the country. And I thought it was a neat thing that they did. They had we call them truck stops here. They called them, I don't know, rest areas, whatever. But one of the ones that we stopped at, because we had 2 days of really long driving, and one of them was the children of abandoned children from the war, or some physical and mental side effects from chemicals and things like that. But all the employees at this gift shop, at the truck stop, were from those situations. And I guess they get some kind of stipend from the government, but they also work. I thought that was quite good. I've got some stuff printed, some stuff sorted out. This was wrapping from a gift that the craft tours people gave us. This little girl here, oh, this was so cool. This little girl is the daughter of a professor that was teaching us lacquer. We didn't have enough time. That was another thing. We didn't have enough time to do the entire process. But she speaks English perfectly, and he's some English. So she was translating for him, and she knows the process and all this other stuff. But we got to see how it was made, which was cool. But she heard me say journaling somewhere along the line. I was jabbing my jaws. And she said, "Do you journal?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh." And the next thing I know, she had gone upstairs to her part of the house and came back down with a bullet journal. It was so fantastic to see that, because she tracks her water, she tracks the books she's reading, she tracks her gratitude. I mean, all kinds of things that we do here also. I don't bullet journal per se, but I do keep track of stuff sometimes. And it was amazing. I was showing her this channel, and showing, I didn't have pictures or samples of what I do with me, obviously, but she was just the cutest little thing. Cute, very personable. One of the girls that we met on the trip, good morning, Hannah, is a journaler, New Hobonichi, New Traveler's Notebooks. Loved talking with this girl also. It was great. We had good people in our group, very experienced travelers. I think I'm going to do some more stuff after the dates that I'm home, to kind of talk about the people we were with and craft tours and everything like that. I did download the coronation, the long version of it, the night before we left, so I could watch it on my iPad in the plane, which I watched some of it on a faster speed. I tried to take pictures, screenshots of the flight tracker, like where we were. And we were all given by Bonnie Hunter, who was the talent on this trip, a little embroidery project, because Vietnam has their own lunar calendar, and it's not the same as the Chinese lunar calendar, but their animal this year is the year of the cat. And so she made this little thing. So we were all embroidering, and we all kind of sat together in sections. And there was one whole row of us embroidering on the way home, as well as tracking our flight. It was just great. It was great. It was hot. There was one day it was 104, which was the highest recorded heat for Hanoi. Luckily, we were coming home from the mountains that day, so we weren't really in it. The first day we were there, it was very hot. But we kind of snuck in and around weather. Very lucky on that matter. We didn't have any rain to speak of when we were out and about. It was warm, by far. It was warm, but doable, especially if you're used to the humidity like we are in the South. And it didn't hit us as bad. I know it's rough. I do know it's rough. Anyhow, so I'm getting there. I'm getting my stuff organized. Oh, Judy, I got your postcard. I'm going to try to remember to put it on Instagram this afternoon too. Hopefully you get yours. I don't know. The little boy that I dropped it off with, one day I asked if we could mail postcards, and he said, "Yes, no problem. Leave it with me and I'll mail it." That next morning when I went to mail your postcard, it was a different boy. He had no idea what a postcard was, no idea where a post office was. And he finally just said, "Yes, I'll do it." So cross your fingers it gets to you. I hope it does. I got yours when we got home. My husband doesn't remember what day it came. He doesn't know anything about tracking postcards. But he did pick us up at the airport. And it was a great trip. Great trip. It was a great introduction to Asia. I'll say that for sure. I wouldn't mind doing Japan next year. Really would not mind. But we shall see how that all plays out. And right now, I'm going to work a couple days in my Hobonichi, try to get my thoughts together. I don't know if I want to do a traveler's notebook or something else with a 4x8 format, or a spiral bound one that I make. I bought 2 children's books late at night one night when I was exhausted. One turns out to be about war. I'm not going to put that in there. I'm not going to use it. I can't use any of the illustrations. One has got some really sweet pictures in it. I kind of wanted to use a book like that for the journal, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Oh, did I show you these sweet little books we got? Where are they? I took a picture of them. Those little tiny journals. I found them in a couple places. But they were cute. I would like to do one of those just about the crafts. The embroidery was unbelievable. I'll talk about all that when I get there. Embroidery, batiking, lacquer, pearls. We saw some pearl demonstrations from a pearl farm. We saw lacquer demonstration, ceramic demonstration. I think that was it. But we were immersed with the people for embroidery and batiking. That was just way too cool. The little books kind of look like these. These are sticker books, but anyhow, I'm stopping here. I will see you back here tomorrow. Regular schedule, here we go. Thanks for watching. Bye.